Welcome back to 3 Up, 3 Downs National League, the Central Division breakdown. We just wrapped up with the division winners, the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's move on to the second place finishers, the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are neighbors up north. Let's look at this lineup. It's a lineup that now has Christian Yelich leading off potentially, followed by Willy Adames, Rowdy Tellez, William Contreras, Jesse Winker, Luis Urias, Garrett Mitchell, Brian Anderson, and Bryce Turang. That is the starting lineup projected at this point. With some injuries, you will be getting back Tyrone Taylor, potentially in the outfield. Let's take a look at the bench, the projected bench. Victor Carantini behind the plate, Mike Brassow, Kenston Hiroa, and Owen Miller. What do you got on this starting rotation and bench, Alex?
Yeah, so the starting lineup looks okay. I'm not actually a huge fan of it. I don't think we're gonna get to see Yelich be what he was again. I don't think MVP Yelich is coming back. He seemed like a juice ball guy. Willy Adames is a good player. Has a lot of pop from shortstop, so a very good player. Rowdy Tellez, good amount of pop. But again, like Rowdy Tellez and Willy Adames aren't exactly the best 2-3 that you see. William Contreras will be an interesting move. He's only 25, coming over from the Braves, and has shown that he can hit, shown that he has a good bat. It'll be interesting to see what he gets in like a more regular role. Jesse Winker, I think they're looking for a bounce back year there. He did not have a good year in Seattle last year.
No.
Coming off like a fantastic year in Cincinnati. Luis Urias is kind of solid, he's just a solid, third, second baseman, utility man, but again, not great for the sixth hitter. Garrett Mitchell is a guy who I think they're expecting a lot out of. Prospect coming up, can steal bases, can run, hit for a little bit of pop, more gap power. Yep,
the fifth-ranked prospect in the organization last year. Continue.
Yeah, but I think he's been on the rise. I think like they're feeling good about who he's going to be. I don't know much about Bryce Turang, former first-round pick, but I haven't heard much hype yet. So I think it's kind of a below-average lineup, to be honest. I think it's for what Milwaukee's goals are this year. I think it's a little below average.
Well, that's where I ask a ton of questions. I think they were in a battle with St. Louis for a little bit of the season, kind of fell off. Obviously, made some trades, traded Hader at the deadline, who had a kind of a rough stretch for this Brewers team. I don't think they got better. I definitely think they got worse. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, before we are too quick to judge, I guess let's take a look at that starting rotation and bullpen. That rotation is led off by Corbin Burns, a very talented ace, Brandon Woodruff, Eric Lauer, Freddie Peralta, and they brought in the always consistent, the always maybe not as ageless wonder like Adam Wainwright, but Wade Miley. And that is the starting five for that rotation. Let's take a look at that bullpen. The bullpen that brings back one of the best relief pitchers in the league in Devin Williams, as he will finally take that role from Josh Hader and be the closing pitcher for this Milwaukee Brewers team, followed by Matt Bush, Peter Zielinski, and Hobie Milner. Apologies on the pronunciations. I struggle on them, but we try. What do you got on this rotation and bullpen, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, first off, if anyone can pronounce Peter's name, Peter Strzelecki. Yeah, we'd love to hear it because that one is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But yeah, first with the rotation, you start off with two horses: Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff.
Yep.
At their height, they're Cy Young caliber players. They're that good. A rotation, a 1-2 punch, anyone would be happy to have.
Oh, you're looking at easily 200 strikeouts potentially between the two of them. So absolutely.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, if he stays healthy a whole year, looking at 250, 260. Yeah. I mean, the guy's a stud. Eric Lauer, kind of a good fourth starter, really. And Freddie Peralta, who's penciling as the fourth, but he's really more of the third starter. Has had some injury issues lately, but can be a really good player.
Yep.
And I like him. Wade Miley, I think, is kind of a stopgap. They have this guy, Aaron Ashby, who's out right now with shoulder fatigue. I never really know what to think about his shoulder fatigue, especially with a younger player, because you don't know if they're going to be cautious there. You just don't know what's going to happen there. But Aaron Ashby pitched a good amount last year, and he showed that he can be a viable starter and potentially a good starter. So it'll be interesting to see how much he plays when he gets back. I don't know the full report on that, but the rotation is going to be good. These are all good players. Wade Miley, I think people hear his name now and are like, oh, it's Wade Miley. But he's actually still an effective starter. I mean, he'll eat innings and pitch to a pretty low ERA. Where I have more questions is in the bullpen. Obviously, Devin Williams, one of the premier closers in baseball, got stuff for days, has that changeup and screwball that are just like, they dance out there. I mean, they're it's really fun to watch him pitch. He will be that closer now with Hader gone. Matt Bush is actually former first overall pick who got arrested, went to jail, and is now a pitcher. He was drafted as a shortstop.
Yep, on the retrack, he's taken all he could of a second chance. So you got to respect what Matt Bush has done. Yep.
But the rest of this, I mean, he's expected to be one of the better relievers there.
He's expected to be the setup guy.
37-year-old Matt Bush. So
Yeah, it's a little
I don't know. A guy I liked here is Bryce Wilson, and he came up with the Braves and was kind of thrust into a pretty big role with the Braves in one of their early playoff runs of this like kind of core. I don't know what to expect from him now. He was on the Pirates last year, and when I watched him, he didn't have a great start, but he looked pretty solid. So I'd be interested there. But really, it's about some breakouts here. I wish I knew more about this bullpen, but that's kind of what it is when you're covering the full MLB, and you just can't be. I know some people probably do, but you can't be expected to know the full bullpen. So again, if you're watching, you're a Brewers fan, and you have a breakout here, because I think everyone watching their own team has some breakouts for their own bullpen that they want to see. So we'd love to hear them.
Hey, maybe it'll be Peter Strzelecki. Strzelecki. How you say it.
Yeah, maybe he'll be all over it and we'll know how to pronounce his name finally.
I agree. Since I let you lead off with the Cardinals X Factor, I am going to take William Contreras. I am at 25 years of age, in his first real position of being the starting number one catcher. I want to see him progress. I want to see him can he be the type of ball player like his brother is. You've seen him win a championship in a backup role with the Atlanta Braves. What can he do as a starting catcher in the major leagues? That is my pick to click. Who are you thinking?
Yeah, so I like that. I think that's a really good pick. I think he's slotted in to be the cleanup hitter there, so they're expecting a lot of him.
Yep.
I'm going to go with just like the bottom of the lineup, like 7 through 9. Are they going to get any production out of that? And I think like the couple guys that I should mention here, like Keston Hiura, Owen Miller, Mike Brosseau. Mike Brosseau is kind of a platoon hitter, can hit lefties very well, can't hit righties. So good piece to have on the bench, you know. Keston Hiura's got a lot of pop for a middle infielder, but hasn't really shown it all come together.
Yep.
I think those guys are all going to rotate in. I just don't know what you're going to get, really. And I think for this team that doesn't have the loaded top of the lineup, I mean, like Yelich, Adames, Tellez, and William Contreras isn't going to do it if you're not going to get back half of the lineup production. Right. So that's where I'm looking.
No, and it's a lineup that has, you know, in the starting lineup that we've mentioned, you've got 3 switch hitters potentially in there, 3 on the bench. It's a lineup that's going to play mix and match ball with whoever is on the mound, righty or lefty. Prediction time. Big news, because I'm taking our next team to finish above this Milwaukee Brewers team. The Brewers are finishing 3rd.
Yeah, you know, this is a tough one for me. It really is. I think I'm going to follow you here. I think I'm going to follow you, and I feel weird predicting a rotation of Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff to not finish second in this division, but I don't love the vibes around this team. Corbin Burns had a bit of like a falling out with the front office here, which I think is bad when your best player and most valuable player isn't really in line with what's going on there. I don't like that Christian Yelich is not Christian Yelich anymore. I don't see enough juice in this team, and I don't like the vibes coming off last year. And it's not like they did something major to adjust this. So I'm going to have them finishing 3rd with you.
I agree. We'll see what happens. Milwaukee fans, if we missed anything, feel free to hop in the comments. Let us know. Give us our critiques. Give us who you may have as your breakout player for this Brewers roster. But that concludes our Milwaukee Brewers division team breakdown. We're moving on to the neighbors for Alex and I, the Chicago Cubs.